There's a quiet power in the phrase, financial freedom. It's something everyone wants, but few truly understand. To some, it sounds like a dream, an idea reserved for the rich or the lucky. But for Bodo Schäfer, the author of The Road to Financial Freedom, it's not a dream at all. It's a process, a set of principles anyone can follow. Schafer's story begins not with success, but with failure. At 26, he was deep in debt, stressed, and uncertain about his future. 4 years later, he became a millionaire. What changed? Not luck, not some secret investment. It was his mindset, his relationship with money. And that's where our journey begins. Before we dive into tactics and numbers, Schafer teaches a powerful lesson: money follows clarity. If you don't know what financial freedom means to you, you'll never reach it. For some, freedom is quitting a job they hate. For others, it's being able to travel, or having enough savings to feel safe. But at its core, financial freedom means choice, the ability to live on your own terms, without fear or limitation. In the world we live in today, the gig economy, inflation, rising costs, and endless financial distractions, the message of this book feels more relevant than ever. The road to financial freedom isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about creating habits, structure, and discipline that lead to independence. And that journey starts in the mind. So, let's begin with the foundation: how you think about money. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Better Life Channel, the channel where we share knowledge and personal growth through the world's most inspiring books. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on future summaries and insights. There's a quiet power in the phrase, financial freedom. Everyone wants it, yet few truly understand what it means. To many, it sounds like a fantasy reserved for the rich, the lucky, or those born into privilege. But to Bodo Schäfer, the author of The Road to Financial Freedom, it's not a fantasy at all, it's a process. A journey guided by principles that anyone can follow. Schafer's story begins not with triumph but with struggle. At 26, he was drowning in debt, uncertain about his future, and overwhelmed by the weight of financial failure. Yet within 4 years, he transformed his life and became a millionaire. What changed was not his luck, but his mindset, his understanding of money itself. Before diving into numbers or strategies, Schafer makes one thing clear: money follows clarity. You can't attract or manage what you don't understand. Financial freedom isn't about a specific number in your bank account, it's about control, peace, and the ability to make choices on your own terms. For one person, that might mean leaving a stressful job. For another, it might mean traveling the world or having enough savings to sleep peacefully at night. Freedom is deeply personal, but the path toward it always begins in the same place: your mind. In today's world, where the gig economy blurs boundaries between work and life, inflation eats away at savings, and social media fuels constant comparison, Schafer's message is more relevant than ever. The road to financial freedom is not about quick wins or shortcuts. It's about discipline, awareness, and patience. To walk that road, you must first understand how you think about money. So let's begin with the foundation, your mindset. If money could speak, what would it say about you? Would it say you treat it with respect? Or with fear? Would it say you understand it? Or that you constantly avoid it? Schafer explains that most people grow up with limiting beliefs about money. Maybe you've heard them before. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. I'll never be good with money. These phrases sound harmless, but they form invisible walls in our minds. They shape our decisions, our confidence, and our ability to grow. You might work hard all your life, yet if you secretly believe that wealth is bad or unreachable, you'll sabotage yourself without even realizing it. Schafer calls this financial programming, the subconscious script that determines how you handle money. To achieve freedom, you have to rewrite that script. The first step is to realize that money is not the enemy. It's a tool, neutral, powerful, and obedient. It magnifies who you already are. If you're kind, it helps you do more good. If you're careless, it multiplies your mistakes. The problem is never the money itself, it's how we relate to it. Think of it this way: you can't master something you secretly dislike. Many people say they want wealth, Yet they hold deep resentment toward those who have it. They feel envy, guilt, or shame around the topic of money, which blocks their ability to manage it wisely. The truth is simple. Money is neither moral nor immoral. It's a mirror reflecting your habits and values. If you respect it, plan for it, and use it intentionally, it becomes a partner. If you ignore it or abuse it, it becomes a problem. Imagine two people earning the same salary. One sees money as a resource to grow, the other as a reward to spend. 10 years later, one has built security and options, the other is trapped in debt and stress. The difference isn't income, it's attitude. Schafer suggests a mental shift. Respect money the same way you respect time. You wouldn't throw away hours of your day doing nothing, don't throw away dollars without purpose. Once you begin to see money as a neutral tool, the next step is clarity. Most people don't have financial goals, they have financial wishes. They say, I want to be rich someday. But someday never arrives. Clarity transforms vague desires into achievable plans. Schafer emphasizes that wealth begins with specific, measurable, time-bound goals. Don't say, I want to save more. Say, I will save $10,000 in the next 18 months. That single sentence changes everything. It turns a dream into a target. To make this practical, imagine someone earning $3,000 a month. Without a goal, they'll likely spend most of it, saving whatever happens to remain, usually nothing. But with a goal to build a 6-month emergency fund, they suddenly start tracking expenses, cutting unnecessary subscriptions, and seeking extra income. The same income produces a radically different result, all because of focus. Schafer describes this process as the success triangle: a clear goal, a written plan, and daily discipline. The triangle works because it replaces hope with structure. However, people resist structure because they underestimate time. We often expect too much in a year but too little in 7. That's why Schafer's 7-year plan is so powerful. It's not a promise of instant riches, it's a timeline for transformation. It gives you room to build real habits, to recover from mistakes, and to experience the compounding effect of small, consistent progress. In a culture obsessed with instant gratification, that's almost revolutionary. Another insight Schafer offers is the difference between earning money and growing money. Earning means trading time for cash. Growing means letting your cash work for you. Most people spend their lives doing the first, never learning the second. Financial freedom begins the moment you shift your focus from effort to efficiency, from working harder to making your money grow. You don't need a big salary to start. You just need consistency. Save a fixed percentage of every paycheck, even if it's just 10%, and invest it wisely. Here's a simple example. Suppose a young professional saves $300 a month and invests it with a 7% annual return. In 10 years, that grows to over $36,000. Not enough to retire, but enough to understand the magic of compounding and to realize that small steps create massive results over time. As Schafer says, you don't need more money. You need a better plan for the money you already have. That's why financial education matters. Most people lose thousands each year simply because they don't understand money, whether through high-interest debt, impulsive spending, or missed opportunities. Schools don't teach this, yet it's one of the most essential life skills. Schafer insists that knowledge is your greatest investment. In today's digital world, that knowledge is easier to find than ever. Books, podcasts, online courses, and mentors are everywhere, but they only help if you make one decision: to stop being passive about your finances. And here's something many ignore: money is emotional. We like to think of financial decisions as logical, but they rarely are. We spend to feel worthy. We save out of fear. We invest out of FOMO. Schafer urges readers to recognize these emotions instead of letting them control our choices. Treat money like a relationship. If you ignore it, it leaves. If you cling to it, it feels suffocated. But if you respect it, by paying attention, planning, and showing patience, it grows naturally. Consider what happened during the 2020 market crash. Many investors panicked and sold everything, locking in losses. Others stayed calm, trusted their plan, and saw their portfolios recover and grow. The difference wasn't luck or knowledge, it was emotional discipline. In the end, money management is really self-management. As we close this first part, remember, before you can build wealth, you must build wisdom. Financial freedom starts not in your wallet, but in your mind. Replace fear with understanding, chaos with intention, reaction with discipline. Anyone, regardless of age or background, can begin this journey. The key is to start now, because the longer you wait, the more freedom you give away. Bodo Schäfer sums it up best. Money is a faithful servant but a terrible master. You decide which role it plays in your life. Once you've developed the right mindset about money, the next step is to build the foundation for wealth. Mindset alone isn't enough, it must be paired with habits, systems, and discipline. Financial freedom is like constructing a house. The mindset is the blueprint. But without a strong foundation, the whole structure collapses. Bodo Schäfer emphasizes that this foundation rests on 4 essential pillars: saving, managing debt, controlling expenses, and protecting what you earn. These are not glamorous topics, but they are what separate dreamers from doers. The first pillar is simple yet powerful: pay yourself first. Most people do the opposite. They pay bills, spend on daily needs, and then save whatever is left, which usually means nothing. Schafer reverses that logic. He says the path to freedom begins when you pay yourself before anyone else. That means taking a fixed percentage of every dollar you earn and setting it aside the moment you receive it. This money isn't for emergencies or short-term goals, it's your seed of freedom. Even if it's just 10%, it's a signal to yourself that your future matters more than instant gratification. Think of saving as self-respect in action. When you pay yourself first, you're telling your subconscious that you deserve a secure future. Schafer explains that this simple habit transforms your relationship with money because it shifts your focus from survival to growth. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. Let's make this practical. Imagine you earn $3 a month. 10% is $300. If you automatically move that $300 into a separate account every month, you've already taken the hardest step, starting. After 1 year, you'll have $3,600 plus any interest or investment growth. That might not sound like much, but it represents momentum. Over time, compound interest turns these small amounts into real wealth. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and Schafer agrees. It rewards patience more than intelligence. In today's world, automation can make this easy. You can set up your bank or investment app to transfer savings automatically. This removes emotion from the process, which is critical because emotion is often the biggest enemy of discipline. The less you rely on willpower, the more consistent you become. The second pillar is eliminating debt. Debt is like a silent tax on your future. It steals from tomorrow to pay for today. Schafer doesn't condemn all debt. Some, like a mortgage or a business loan, can be productive if managed wisely. But he warns that consumer debt, especially credit card debt, is a trap. The interest rates are designed to keep you stuck. Many people end up paying 3 or 4 times the original purchase price simply because they buy on credit without a plan to repay. He introduces a simple but powerful system called the debt snowball. Start by listing all your debts from smallest to largest. Pay the minimum on all but the smallest one, and attack that one aggressively. When it's gone, take the amount you were paying and roll it into the next debt. Like a snowball rolling downhill, your payments grow larger with each victory. The psychological boost of seeing debts disappear fuels your momentum. There's also an alternative, called the debt avalanche, where you pay off the highest interest debt first. Either system works, the key is commitment. The best plan is the one you actually follow. Schafer's point is not about math but emotion. The feeling of progress keeps you going when motivation fades. Let's take an example. Imagine someone with 3 debts: a $500 credit card balance at 20% interest, a $2 car loan at 8%, and a $10 student loan at 5%. Using the snowball method, they would pay off the $500 first, then apply that payment to the $2, then finally to the $10. In 2 years, they could be debt-free simply by staying consistent. The numbers matter less than the mindset. Every payment is a declaration of independence. The third pillar is control your spending. This may sound obvious, but most people underestimate how much leaks out of their wallet through habits. Schafer encourages tracking every expense for at least 30 days. It's not about punishment, it's about awareness. When you see where your money goes, you realize how much is wasted on convenience or impulse. A $6 coffee every morning doesn't seem like much until you realize it's $180 a month, over $2 a year. That's the cost of a small vacation or a significant investment. He suggests a method called the 3-account system. You divide your income into 3 categories: necessities, freedom, and fun. The first covers your living costs, rent, bills, food. The second is your savings and investments, your future. The third is enjoyment, because financial freedom doesn't mean living like a monk. It means balance. Most people fail not because they spend, but because they spend without intention. If you give yourself permission to enjoy a set amount, you remove guilt and prevent burnout. Schafer emphasizes that building wealth isn't about deprivation, it's about direction. You're not punishing yourself by saving, you're empowering yourself. Each dollar you don't waste is a dollar that works for you. The shift from consumer to creator is subtle but life-changing. The fourth pillar of the foundation is protection. This means safeguarding what you've built, through insurance, emergency funds, and risk management. Life is unpredictable. Job loss, illness, or global crises can destroy years of progress if you're unprepared. Schafer recommends having an emergency fund equal to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This is your financial shield. It prevents you from falling back into debt when things go wrong. In a world where many live paycheck to paycheck, even a small emergency fund can make a huge difference. It gives you options, and options are the essence of freedom. Imagine losing your job but knowing you can live comfortably for 6 months while searching for the right opportunity. That's power. Beyond savings, Schafer also talks about insurance, not as a burden, but as protection for your loved ones. Many people avoid thinking about it because it's uncomfortable. But responsible planning isn't about fear, it's about love. When you protect your income, your health, and your family, you're building stability that allows you to take bold steps elsewhere. These 4 pillars, saving, debt elimination, expense control, and protection, create what Schafer calls your financial base camp. Before you climb the mountain of wealth, you must make sure your base camp is strong enough to support the journey. Let's pause and connect this to modern life. In 2025, people face new challenges: rising rent, uncertain job markets, and digital distractions everywhere. But the core principles haven't changed. The tools may be different: apps, investments, online banking, but the human habits remain the same. The people who win are not the ones with the highest income, they're the ones who master consistency. A simple budget and automatic savings plan outperform complex financial theories every time. Schafer often compares building wealth to getting fit. You can't expect to go to the gym once and see results. But if you show up 3 times a week for years, the change becomes inevitable. Financial fitness works the same way. You don't need perfection, just persistence. He also warns about the modern danger of lifestyle inflation. As income rises, so do expenses. People upgrade cars, move into bigger apartments, and spend more on things that don't bring long-term value. Schafer reminds us that freedom isn't about having more, it's about needing less. The fewer obligations you create, the more flexibility you have. True wealth is not measured by possessions but by peace of mind. Let's take a quick story to illustrate. Imagine 2 friends, both earning $70 a year. One lives modestly, saving 20% of his income, investing consistently, and driving a reliable car. The other spends freely, leasing a luxury vehicle and living in a high-end apartment. After 10 years, the first friend has investments generating passive income, the second is still living paycheck to paycheck. Same income, different choices. That's the power of a foundation. As Schafer explains, once your foundation is strong, opportunities begin to appear. You can start thinking about investments, side businesses, or real estate, but without that base, every opportunity becomes a risk. The goal is stability first, growth second. Another principle he emphasizes is delayed gratification. It's one of the strongest predictors of financial success. The ability to wait, to save, to invest, to hold off on unnecessary purchases, creates a compounding effect not just on money, but on character. In a world built on instant rewards, those who master patience win the long game. To summarize this chapter, Schafer's message is simple: before you build wealth, you must earn the right to manage it. Pay yourself first, eliminate debt, control spending, and protect your progress. These aren't exciting ideas, but they're the backbone of every financial success story. Wealth isn't built on secrets, it's built on structure. As we prepare for the next chapter, where Schafer dives into how to make money work for you through investments and passive income, remember this truth: a strong foundation doesn't limit you, it liberates you. It's what allows you to take risks confidently, knowing your base is secure. Financial freedom isn't about luck or intelligence. It's about systems, discipline, and time. The sooner you start building your foundation, the sooner you can climb higher, step by step, year by year. Thank you for listening to Better Life Channel. If you found this chapter helpful, don't forget to follow so you won't miss the next part of the road to financial freedom, where we'll explore how to make your money work for you instead of the other way around. Because the goal isn't just to make a living, it's to create a life of freedom, purpose, and peace. Once your financial foundation is solid, it's time to take the next step, learning how to make your money work for you. This is where the journey becomes exciting. Up to this point, you've worked hard for money. But now, you'll discover how money can start working for you. That shift, from labor to leverage, is the defining difference between financial struggle and financial freedom. Bodo Schäfer explains that true wealth doesn't come from simply earning a high income. It comes from building systems that continue to generate income even when you're not working. The goal isn't just to escape a job, it's to design a life where your time is your own. Financial freedom means choice, the freedom to decide how you spend your days, not being trapped by bills or obligations. The key principle is creating multiple streams of income. Schafer emphasizes that relying on a single source, like a job, is risky. One company decision, one economic downturn, or one personal emergency can wipe out your stability. Wealthy people protect themselves by diversifying their income. They have active income, what they earn through work, and passive income, what they earn even while they sleep. So, what exactly is passive income? It's money that continues to flow after the initial effort is done. Examples include rental income, dividends from investments, royalties from books or music, profits from online businesses, or automated digital products. In today's world, with technology and the internet, opportunities for passive income are more accessible than ever. But Schafer warns that passive doesn't mean effortless. Every passive income stream requires time, learning, and setup before it becomes self-sustaining. To build passive income, Schafer encourages us to think like investors, not spenders. Instead of asking, "What can I buy with this money?" ask, "How can I make this money grow?" That mindset shift turns consumption into creation. When you invest, you're planting seeds that will eventually bear fruit. But like any seed, it takes patience, care, and consistency. Let's start with one of the most common and powerful tools, investing in the stock market. Schafer simplifies investing for beginners. He explains that you don't need to be a Wall Street expert to start, you just need discipline and time. The stock market rewards patience, not prediction. He recommends focusing on long-term investing through index funds or exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which spread your risk across many companies instead of betting on one. To illustrate, imagine you invest $500 a month in a low-cost index fund with an average annual return of 8%. After 20 years, you'd have over $275. After 30 years, more than $700. That's the magic of compound interest. Your money earns money. And then that money earns more money. The earlier you start, the more powerful the effect. Time is the ultimate multiplier. Schafer also warns against emotional investing. When markets fall, fear drives people to sell, locking in losses. When markets rise, greed pushes them to buy high. The result? The average investor underperforms the market because they let emotion override logic. The solution is automation, investing consistently every month. No matter what the market is doing, Over time, the highs and lows balance out. This method, known as dollar cost averaging, smooths volatility and builds wealth steadily. In today's digital age, it's easier than ever to start investing with apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, or Vanguard, but technology doesn't replace wisdom. The principle remains the same: invest in what you understand, focus on long-term growth, and never risk money you can't afford to lose. The second path Schafer highlights is real estate investing. Real estate has created more millionaires than any other asset class, but it also requires careful planning. Schafer emphasizes that property is not just about owning land, it's about creating cash flow. The goal isn't to speculate on rising prices but to generate consistent rental income. He tells a story of one of his students who started by buying a small apartment using savings and a modest loan. Instead of living in it, she rented it out. Each month, after covering mortgage payments and expenses, she had a small surplus. She repeated the process every few years. 10 years later, she owned 4 apartments, generating enough income to cover her living costs. That's financial independence in action, not through luck, but through steady, strategic growth. However, Schafer cautions against diving into real estate without understanding it. You must study your market, calculate expenses accurately, and keep a financial cushion for repairs or vacancies. Real estate rewards knowledge and punishes ignorance. But when done wisely, it can become one of the most reliable sources of passive income. Another modern example is digital income. In the 21st century, we can create assets that exist entirely online: courses, ebooks, YouTube channels, podcasts, or digital products. Once created, they can generate revenue again and again. Schafer didn't live in the age of YouTube or social media when he first wrote his book. But his philosophy fits perfectly into this era. The same principles apply: create something valuable once, and let it serve thousands. Take, for example, someone who builds an online course teaching a specific skill, say, personal budgeting or graphic design. The initial effort might take months, but once uploaded, it can generate income for years with minimal upkeep. Or a YouTube creator who builds a channel about productivity and monetizes through ads, sponsorships, or affiliate links. It's modern-day royalty income. The more people it reaches, the more it earns. Schafer also stresses the importance of knowledge as leverage. The more you know, the more opportunities you can see. Many people miss chances because they don't recognize them. Investing in education, books, courses, mentors, is the best investment of all. He famously said, "Your income grows only as fast as you do." In other words, if you want to earn more, you must become more. He introduces the idea of the money tree. Every financial decision you make should either plant a new tree or help your existing trees grow. Some trees, like investments, grow slowly but steadily. Others, like businesses, might grow faster but require more care. The mistake most people make is cutting down their trees too early, spending the fruits before the tree is mature. True wealth builders nurture their trees until they produce enough fruit to live on indefinitely. Let's connect this to real life. Imagine 2 people both receiving a $10 bonus. One spends it on a new phone and vacation. The other invests it in dividend-paying stocks or a small online business. 5 years later, one has memories, the other has money that continues to grow. Both enjoyed the moment, but only one built the future. Schafer also warns that fear is the biggest barrier to wealth creation. People often say, "I don't know enough to invest," or "What if I lose money?" But not investing is also a risk. The risk of staying stuck, of inflation eroding your savings, of missing opportunities. Courage doesn't mean you have no fear, it means you act despite it. Every successful investor started as a beginner. He recommends starting small, investing with what you have, learning through action, and expanding gradually. The first $100 you invest is the hardest. After that, it becomes a habit. Over time, you'll gain confidence and experience, which are worth more than any return. Another critical lesson in this chapter is reinvesting your earnings. Many people earn profits and immediately spend them, breaking the compounding cycle. Schafer calls this, eating your seeds. Instead, he advises reinvesting at least half of your profits back into your income streams. That's how small streams turn into rivers. In modern times, this principle applies to side hustles too. If you start a small online store or freelance business, don't withdraw all the profits, reinvest in better tools, marketing, or education. The faster you grow your asset, the sooner it becomes self-sustaining. Schafer also introduces a powerful idea, financial freedom number. This is the amount of passive income you need each month to cover your living expenses. Once your passive income equals or exceeds that number, you're financially free. You might still choose to work, but it's a choice, not an obligation. For example, if your monthly expenses are $2, and you earn $2 from investments, rentals, or digital assets, you've achieved freedom. You may not be rich yet, but you're independent. From that point, every additional dollar increases your options. He encourages listeners to calculate their own financial freedom number. It's a simple but eye-opening exercise. Most people realize that freedom costs less than they thought. It's not about millions, it's about enough. When you know your number, you can create a concrete plan to reach it. In this part of the book, Schafer's tone shifts from teaching to empowering. He reminds us that building wealth isn't just about money, it's about creating a life aligned with your values. Passive income isn't only financial, it's emotional freedom, time freedom, and peace of mind. When money works for you, you can focus on what truly matters: relationships, growth, and contribution. He also makes it clear that passive income is not an overnight miracle. It requires consistent action, patience, and resilience. But once your systems are in place, the rewards multiply exponentially. You stop trading hours for dollars and start building something that grows even while you sleep. Let's close this chapter with one of Schafer's most memorable lessons. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to that hour. That's the essence of wealth creation. As you increase your value through knowledge, skills, and discipline, your financial results will follow. The road to financial freedom is not easy, but it's achievable for anyone willing to learn and act. Whether you invest in stocks, real estate, or digital assets, the formula is the same: start small, stay consistent, reinvest your profits, and never stop learning. As we move into the next part, maintaining freedom and building legacy, we'll explore how to protect and grow your wealth for the long term, so your financial freedom not only lasts a lifetime but can also empower the next generation. If you're enjoying this journey, make sure to follow Better Life channel so you won't miss the next chapter. Remember, the goal isn't just to make money, it's to make meaning. Because financial freedom is not the end, it's the beginning of a life lived on your own terms. Reaching financial freedom is not the end of the road, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Once you've built wealth and created passive income, the challenge shifts from making money to keeping it, growing it, and using it wisely. Many people reach success only to lose it later because they stop doing what got them there. Bodo Schäfer reminds us that the habits, discipline, and mindset that created financial freedom must never be abandoned once we achieve it. True freedom is not a one-time victory, it's a lifelong practice. The first principle in maintaining freedom is continuing to grow. Wealth is like a garden. If you stop tending it, weeds will take over. Schafer explains that financial freedom requires constant awareness. Markets change, opportunities evolve, and risks appear in new forms. You don't need to obsess over every news headline, but you must stay educated and flexible. The world today moves fast. Technology, AI, global trends, all can affect your financial landscape. Those who keep learning, adapting, and improving stay free. Those who don't often find themselves back where they started. He shares a simple but powerful truth: money is a reflection of you. If you grow, your wealth grows. If you stagnate, your wealth will too. Financial success mirrors personal development. That's why Schafer insists that maintaining freedom is 80% mindset and only 20% mechanics. The numbers matter, but the person you become matters more. One of the most overlooked aspects of staying financially free is avoiding complacency. Many people, after achieving their goals, start to relax too much. They spend more, take unnecessary risks, or lose the sense of purpose that drove them. Schafer warns that financial freedom without discipline can quickly turn into financial disaster. The goal isn't to stop working entirely, it's to work with meaning. You can retire from your job, but you should never retire from growth. He encourages readers to find a new purpose beyond money. Once you no longer have to work for survival, the question becomes, what will you do with your freedom? This is where true fulfillment begins. Freedom without purpose often leads to boredom, emptiness, or even self-destruction, but freedom with purpose creates legacy. Schafer divides this phase into 3 guiding principles: protect, expand, and contribute. First, protect your freedom. This means managing risk intelligently. Even when you have wealth, you must safeguard it. Diversify your investments across different asset classes: stocks, bonds, real estate, and cash reserves. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how secure it seems. Many people lose fortunes because they become overconfident and take excessive risks. He gives an example of a businessman who sold his company for millions but invested everything into a single startup. When it failed, he lost nearly everything. The lesson? Financial freedom isn't about chasing the next big thing, it's about protecting what you've earned. Risk management isn't fear, it's wisdom. Always make sure that no single mistake can ruin your life. Protection also means taking care of your health, relationships, and mental well-being. What's the use of wealth if you're too sick, lonely, or stressed to enjoy it? Schafer emphasizes holistic freedom, the kind that includes financial stability, emotional balance, and meaningful connection. True freedom is the ability to live each day with energy, peace, and gratitude. Second, expand your freedom. Once you're stable, look for ways to grow your wealth intelligently. Schafer reminds us that money is a tool for expansion. It allows you to explore, create, and experience more of life. But it must be guided by clarity and purpose. You can expand through learning new skills, investing in businesses, or partnering with others. One of Schafer's key insights is the power of multiplication. You can multiply your impact by teaching others what you've learned, by building systems that serve more people, or by investing in ventures that create value beyond yourself. The most successful people don't hoard money, they use it to build something bigger than themselves. He also discusses the importance of mentorship and giving back. Once you reach a certain level of success, you have a responsibility to share your knowledge. Helping others doesn't just benefit them, it strengthens your own foundation. When you teach, you reinforce your own discipline. When you give, you attract abundance. Schafer encourages creating what he calls a circle of financial responsibility. Surround yourself with people who share your values, who hold you accountable, and who inspire you to stay on the path. Freedom is easier to maintain when you're not alone. Third, contribute. This is the highest level of financial freedom, using your wealth to make a difference. Contribution doesn't mean giving away everything, it means aligning your resources with your purpose. When you help others rise, you rise too. Schafer writes, money is like energy, it flows best when it moves. Stagnant money loses value, just as stagnant water becomes polluted. When you invest in causes, communities, or ideas that matter to you, you keep that energy alive. Contribution transforms money from a material tool into a spiritual force. Let's take a modern example. Imagine a person who achieves financial freedom through investing in digital business. Instead of stopping there, they use part of their income to fund scholarships for underprivileged students or create online education platforms. Not only do they maintain their wealth, but they multiply their impact. Their freedom becomes a seed for others' growth. Schafer reminds us that contribution is not only about charity. It's about legacy, the mark you leave on the world. A legacy isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in the lives you touch. Financial freedom gives you the platform to create that impact. He introduces the concept of emotional dividend. This is the happiness and fulfillment you earn when your wealth benefits others. The emotional dividend often brings more satisfaction than financial profit ever could. Now, let's talk about legacy. Building a legacy is about ensuring that your freedom outlives you. It means passing on not just money, but wisdom, habits, and values. Many people leave an inheritance but not instruction, and without guidance. Wealth can destroy rather than empower the next generation. Schafer suggests creating what he calls a freedom file. It's a document containing not only your financial information but also your principles, the lessons that helped you succeed. Write down what money means to you, how to handle it, what mistakes to avoid, and what values you hope your children will live by. That's a true inheritance. He tells the story of a man who left his daughter a letter along with his estate. In that letter, he explained how he built his wealth, what sacrifices it took, and what values guided his life. Decades later, that letter was far more valuable to her than the money itself. It became a compass. That's the essence of legacy. Schafer's philosophy is timeless because it focuses not just on tactics, but on transformation. Financial freedom isn't about escaping work, it's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to. The real reward isn't money, it's mastery. It's knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way, that you control your life instead of being controlled by circumstance. In today's world, where everything moves fast, maintaining freedom requires intentional simplicity. Don't overcomplicate your life with unnecessary obligations or luxuries that create stress. Keep your system simple, automated, and sustainable. Focus on what truly adds value. He also warns against comparison. Social media constantly shows us images of wealth and success, but most of it is illusion. True freedom is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to be free. As we near the end of this journey, Schafer leaves us with one profound thought: freedom is not given, it's earned, practiced, and protected every single day. Each decision you make, every dollar saved, every investment nurtured, every act of discipline builds your future. And every moment of gratitude and contribution ensures that freedom grows deeper than money ever could. Imagine your life 5 or 10 years from now. You wake up when you choose. Spend your time doing work you love. Help others grow, and live without financial anxiety. That's not a dream, it's a direction. And it starts today, with one simple choice: to take responsibility for your financial future. Because in the end, financial freedom isn't about escaping reality, it's about creating a better one. It's about designing a life of purpose, peace, and power. So as you finish this final chapter, ask yourself, what will I do with my freedom? Will I use it to consume? Or to create? To take? Or to give? To chase comfort? Or to build legacy? The answer to that question will determine not only your future, but the future of those who follow you. Thank you for joining the road to financial freedom on the Better Life channel. If this journey has inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, follow, and keep learning with us as we continue exploring ideas that help you live a richer, freer, and more meaningful life. Because true freedom isn't found in wealth, it's found in wisdom, in courage, and in the decision to live intentionally, every single day. Conclusion: your journey to financial freedom begins now. Financial freedom isn't just a dream reserved for the few, it's a path anyone can walk. As long as they understand the principles, stay disciplined, and take consistent action throughout the road to financial freedom. Bodo Schäfer reminds us that wealth is never an accident. It's the result of mindset, knowledge, and habits repeated every single day. You've learned that money is not your enemy, it's a tool, a partner that amplifies who you already are. You've seen that achieving financial independence begins not with a windfall, but with a shift in thinking. When you stop living for short-term comfort and start focusing on long-term freedom, your life changes. It's not about making millions overnight, it's about gaining control over your time, your choices, and your destiny. The habits we've discussed, saving, investing, continuous learning, and developing multiple streams of income, are not just financial tactics. They are reflections of personal mastery. The person who builds wealth with integrity and patience becomes stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And the reward? Not only financial security, but the ability to live life on your own terms, to choose what truly matters. Remember this: freedom doesn't come when you have enough money. It comes when you no longer feel controlled by money. That's the heart of Bodo Schäfer's message, and the timeless truth behind every story of success. Now it's your turn to apply what you've learned. Take one lesson from this book and put it into action today. Start tracking your spending. Read a new book about investing. Talk to someone who inspires you financially. or simply commit to saving 10% of your income. These small steps compound into life-changing results. Financial freedom is not a destination, it's a journey, one that begins the moment you decide to walk it. If this summary inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to Better Life channel, where we explore the world's most powerful books about money, mindset, and success, all to help you design a better future. And we'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell us which book you'd like us to summarize next. Your suggestion might just be the next episode on Better Life channel, where knowledge becomes your greatest investment.